guys get a paper and pen ready if you haven't already been taking notes. I'm going to share my screen. Cam, I didn't ask your permission, but don't kill me. But I want to share a couple of these text messages between myself and Cam as context for this conversation that we're about to have that I think can change your business if you will tune in and you will implement what you're going to learn in the next 20 minutes. So you probably can't read this. So let me explain what you're seeing. Cam and I communicate. That's one tip that you got to write down. And the communication is not me checking in with Cam. Hey, Cam, how you doing? What's going on? What's going on? It's Cam communicating with me like, hey, Jermaine, here's what I did. So look at this. This is over the last 2 weeks, right? Cam has completely changed his business, completely changed his business. It started at the Huddle on 7-Eleven. A couple things clicked there, and I'll have him talk about that real quick. And then on the 18th, we had a call with Claude Perry. A couple things clicked as well. And now here's what he texted me, his dial tracker, right? So on the 18th, he texted me his dial tracker, how many appointments he had locked in, how many no's he had. He texted me the next dial day, he had 725 dials, 10 appointments so far. And then I think it was the next morning, he was dialing as well on Tuesday. It was a Monday. He was dialing on the Tuesday morning. And then he was out in the field one day. The person left him a note. I'm so sorry. I had an emergency. Please call to reschedule. And look at his response. Attitude, right? So he's got the activity and he's got the right attitude. Most people, man, they no-showed me. This thing doesn't work. What a blessing, bro. She wasn't home. Now I could get to the next one and be on time. Hammer down. That's the right attitude, you know what I mean? And then I said, yep, bathroom break or time to get, be on time for the next one. I mean, I don't know about you, but I was grateful for the no-shows because I had so many appointments I was running behind. I was able to catch up. And then I asked him, over the last 2 weeks, what have you learned? And he just broke it down, and he'll talk a little bit about that today. But the two things I want to highlight is just his persistency, his communication, and his attitude. And this is why he's having the success that he's having. So, Cam, you're on, right?
I'm on, boss.
All right, good. It'd be pretty bad if you wasn't after me hyping you up like that. So let me see if I
better be on.
Yeah, you better be on. All right, good stuff, man. So, hey, first of all, I just want to say, man, I appreciate being business with you. I appreciate you being coachable. Some people say they're coachable and then they're not. And you say, hey, I'm going to be coachable, and you listen, you take advice, you ask good questions, and most importantly, you execute, which is important. We could talk and plan all day, but until we execute, nothing gets done. So let me have you just kind of give everybody a little bit of background and context for this conversation. 7-Eleven, Team Huddle, you're in Atlanta, you're at the event, and you said a couple things clicked for you. Can you talk about that real quick?
First thing Jermaine, thanks so much. I'm honored and blessed to be in business with you as well. Thank you everybody for being on the call. I just want to firstly give God praise and thanks, give him all the glory, just for his grace for me to even be here. I'm truly thankful. 7-Eleven was powerful. The first thing that comes to my mind is the power of consistency and persistence through challenges, and keeping a level mindset, a level head, whether high or low. What I saw, one quality that I saw in all the top agents there, from Jermaine to Jill on down through Sam, Ashley, Miranda, just to name a few, Chris, I see the relentless commitment that they have to accomplish the goal. And that was huge for me. And what I saw was that their success, if they can be successful, and they're saying the key to this whole thing is hard work, perseverance, and persistence. Don't let up, even when you do well or you're not doing well. Just keep the activity, keep the right mindset, and keep the think the audio might have went out there, Jermaine.
I was
Okay.
like,
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I think the audio faded out, but that was it. That was one of the big things is just the way they were so consistent, man. And it's like you always said, and we talk about this all the time, and you say this a lot. If those that who are successful are willing to show me what it takes to be successful, then I can be successful too. And if they can do it, and if they can accomplish this level of success in this business, then that means that I too can accomplish it if I'm willing to open my mind, apply my faith, apply myself daily towards what I'm being taught and towards the training, and just walk it out. We all have a big picture dream, but what I learned is that big picture dream has a lot of small goals, these little habits that we develop along the way that get us to that greater destination. So sometimes we get so focused on the destination, but the destination means I set my alarm clock so I can be up early, so I can prepare my mind, so I can hit the gym, so I can have my read the good book, read the word, so I can speak good things over myself, over my situation. It's all those little things that we overlook that actually make a huge difference and get us towards the breakthrough and towards the prosperous, blessed life that we all want to have.
And the crazy part about this whole thing, and I'm going to share these numbers here in a second, but prior to that, I mean, you were almost out of business. Can we talk about that? Because you and I had a conversation. You're like, man, I got to figure something out, because if not, I might have to go get a part-time job because this isn't working for me.
Yeah.
And can you talk about that a little bit, and what made you come to the realization that, man, why would I go get another job when I have this business? Let me just figure out what to do here to be successful.
Yeah, that was huge. And I have a great woman in my life, and I should mention that she's a very strong woman. she speaks to me very directly, very bluntly. To give you an idea, maybe like the caliber of like a Sean Mike, or something like that. She just no BS. Like, hey, this is what it is. Get your stuff together. Come on, you can do it. So that was huge, because I had some really uncomfortable but necessary conversations with her. Right, Jermaine, you and I we had a couple of conversations that I needed to have, and it's not always easy. And that's one thing I did want to mention on this call. It's okay to reach up to the mentors that are there. Find somebody that you click with, that you trust, that wants you to succeed, and open up and let them know where you're at. Because I believe that when we're transparent and honest about where we are, hey, Jermaine, I'm actually really challenged financially. I'm struggling with X, Y, and Z, man. I'm trying to figure this out, but I'm having a hard time, and they because they've been through it already and they have seen a certain level of success, then you can pull from their wisdom, pull from their insight, and be able to actually tie that in. But what having those conversations with Sarah, she said, hey, you know what? You gotta just approach this the same way you approached your military service. You were working 8, 10, 12 hours a day. There was no nonsense. There was no showing up, late or whenever you felt like it. You went there. It was work. That was a priority, and you treated it as such, because I didn't want my supervisor to write me any paperwork and send that up to the captain and say, hey, you know what, Sergeant Martin is not doing his job. Or if I was on the job, I didn't want my employer, my boss, because I've had a boss mostly all my life, or a supervisor. I didn't want them to have to fire me because I didn't show up, showed up late, or I showed up and then I didn't do my job. And it was having that shift, along with, like Jermaine touched on, opening myself up to be accountable and taking responsibility for that. See, and I think that's the thing. Sometimes we're waiting around for our mentor or upline, somebody else to reach out constantly to us and say, hey, how are you doing? How's things going? But what I realized was that it's better for us, and the way it really works better in my observation is to take initiative for ourselves, to take that initiative, say, I want to grow. I don't want this thing not to work out. So if I don't start treating this like a real W-2 job, if I don't start imagining that there's somebody standing at that door waiting to see if I walk in a second past 8 o'clock, then I'm gonna go out of business. But that would be on me. That wouldn't be on Jermaine. That won't be on Gio, Miranda. That won't be on anybody else who's successful that wants me to succeed. Because at the end of the day, we have to dig a little deeper and ask and come to the sobering awareness of like how important it really is for us and for our family. So that was huge for me. And I thought, I see a lot of people working hard and I would pride myself as being a hard worker. I learned that model from my father. My father taught me hard work. But this is a different kind of hard work. This is different. This is not the same kind of hard works that I've had in previous careers or previous opportunities. This is like a whole new level of mental and just it works every part of you as a person. Like it's either going to make you better, make you dig a little deeper, make you reach a little higher, make you open up a little more and get uncomfortable, or it doesn't work out. But either way, like Jermaine, you always say, either way we get the credit, right? So if I don't apply it, the training, if I don't make those little adjustments and tweaks, I get the credit for that if things don't work out. But if I make those adjustments, get up every day with faith and start saying something to my situation by faith, speaking the words of faith, the good book, and really applying myself and challenging myself to a new level and letting others challenge me to a new level, then I get the credit for that too. And that could turn into success. So
yeah, man. And you definitely get the credit for this because we talk about putting in the work all the time, and I think it goes in one ear and out the other. Like for example, we had 40 people on this call. It's down to 34. Why? It might have been they had something important that they had to do, but 6 people have jumped off, right? I'm gonna just leave that where it's at. But we talk about how hard how hard you do have to work in this business. We never sugarcoat it. And I think you came to a realization that, man, I'm not putting the amount of effort in this business that it requires for me to have the level of success. And that's huge because most of us will try to point the blame out externally. It's the leads. It's the lack of this. It's the lack of that. Whatever the issue may be, we find a reason externally. The people who win, guys, listen to this. The people who win are the individuals that look in the mirror and say, I'm not doing enough. There's something I need to do differently. It's up to me if this is going to change. And if I don't know what it takes, I'm going to go ahead and reach out, reach up, and find out what it takes. And that's exactly what you did. That's exactly what you did, because July 18th on your dial day, you made the decision, I'm going to put in the work. I'm not dialing enough. I get enough leads. I'm spending about $1,000 a week on leads, and I'm not dialing them enough to get enough appointments. That was your issue, right? Yeah. Not enough appointments. Yeah. And so in July, you said, you know what? I'm going to get better. 550 dials on July 18th. You set 8 appointments and you sat with 6 of the 8. You helped 2 families. Next dial day, Thursday, July 21st, 725 dials, 10 appointments. You sat with 6 and you helped 1 family. Okay. July 25th, 582 dials, 15 appointments. You finally hit that goal of 15 appointments. And the reason is you've already dialed the last 2 dial session, almost 1,500 dials. So you're getting better on the phone. So in 582 dials, you were able to set 15 appointments. You sat with 5 and you helped 4. So your closing ratio is getting better, right? The prior week, you sat with 6, you only helped 1. Now you sit with 5, you helped 4. Last weekend, or this past weekend, July 28th, 400 dials to hit 15 appointments. You sat with 8 of them and you sold 7 of them. You helped 7 of them, right? And this is a total of 14 families just in the last 2 weeks that you've helped. The annual premium that those clients are paying as a little over $20,000 in annual premium that the clients are paying. And that's revolutionized your business in the last 2 weeks, right? Just from you deciding that, okay, it's me, it's something I'm not doing. Let me reach out, let me communicate where I'm at, let me be coachable, which means I'm going to ask for help, I'm going to listen, and I'm going to implement and execute what, my mentor, my coach tells me to do to see the results, man. Like, you're a textbook. If I could have 100 camps, I'd sign a check for that right now, meaning that 100 people that's willing to do what it takes for them to change their life. That's all it is.
Yeah.
You're willing to do what it takes to change your life. And anybody on this call can do what you've done. Would you agree, Cam? Or are you some super military guy that's,
I agree.
Yeah, anybody. You might even say they
else.
could do it better, right?
Right.
So,
But
but that's what it takes, man. And we've got another guy that's doing something similar. I had a conversation with him on Saturday, and I'm excited to share what he's doing, in about 2 weeks. But I wanted to highlight you for the fact that you're willing to accept responsibility for where you're at. You're willing to reach out to see what you need to do differently, and then you execute that plan and you stay consistent with that plan. I mean, there were nights when you weren't leaving the office until 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
There were nights when you dialed till 9:30, right?
Mhm.
And I think there was 1 week recently where you were finishing up early, you'd hit that 15 appointment goal, and we still had daylight. And you was like, yes, finally.
Not while the sun's up.
Yeah. But the thing is that if you had to go until it was dark, you were willing to do what it takes. And the other thing is that you don't have to grind that hard for that long, because you grind hard for a period of time, you get better, and it becomes easier, it becomes simpler to do what we do. What the challenge is for a lot of us is that we won't grind hard for that period of time to be able to learn and get better, to sharpen our skill set, so that way it becomes easier for us to do what we do.
Definitely.
What do you want to add to that? I see you got some words. Go ahead.
No, that was great. I would say one thing that really helped me, I mean, we hear it all the time, 80 to 85% of this business truly is the phone. And I say there's a huge part of this business that's also tied into our mindset. I made this shift, Jermaine. I began to see this as when I saw in the military, when I had a mission, there was something that needed to get done. It didn't matter how much sleep we got. It didn't matter if it was raining outside. It didn't matter if it was snowing. It didn't matter if whatever was going on in our family situations. Nothing mattered. We had to compartmentalize all of that, and we had to focus on the mission. And that has been huge for me, having that missional mindset of, I'm actually here to rescue and protect these families. I'm not just here to make a dollar. The dollar is we all know that our compensation is amazing, right? We have the best in the industry, but the dollar is a byproduct of seeing every lead. And when you see that lead, putting your hands on it and asking the man above to help you actually help that family, because it actually represents more than just a number and a name. It represents a family that, God forbid, can be gone tomorrow, can be an eternity. And that's been huge. And then just really, that's been huge.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And so in practical, to help everyone, so if there's someone on this call, out of the 31 people now that are on this call, and they're wanting to make that shift for themselves, right? Let's give them some practical hands-on help. So one, we know that you're spending, I think you said about $1,000 a week on leads. Is that about right?
Yes, sir. Between 800 to 1,000 a week.
Okay.
I'll drop 500 per dial day on average, 400 to 500, depending on the discounts.
Utilizing discounts. So you're using the CRM leads. Are you using any other lead sources or lead types?
At this point, no, actually just the CRM. I do a lot of the internets, the 1 monthers or the new internet life. And then I'll do a lot of the age mortgage. I'll have the alerts turned on there. So I'll grab those as soon as those alerts pop up, and I'll mix them all in and try to get to I try to have at least 100 fresh leads every dial day.
So 14 families that you've helped in the last 2 weeks. Every one of those was a lead that you got through the CRM, whether it was an internet lead or a mailed in second chance lead or a YouTube lead or one of those options within the CRM.
Yeah, all CRM.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah. And I want to highlight that because sometimes we'll have individuals that will complain. Well, hey, I got these leads and they don't work. Well, Cam works and his leads work. So take that. And I hate to be like that, but I know that complaining and problem finding does not help anybody. Does not help anybody. It doesn't help the families we're trying to protect. Doesn't help your family that you're trying to provide for. But when you're solution oriented and you have that mindset that Cam has, that I'm going to make this work with God's help, I'm going to put in the work it takes, and he's going to work it out. That's when things work. So, man, that's phenomenal. So about $800 to $1,000 on leads, all CRM leads that you're working. And you said you spread that out about 400 to 500 each dial day. And then what's your schedule like? Just your weekly schedule?
Yeah. So Monday, I like to be at the office bright and early. Monday morning, that's a dial day. So I'll get into the office, get my first dial out. I like to get it right out at 8 a.m. And I'm dialing all day until I hit my 15 appointments or until it's about 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, whichever comes first. Dial tracker to track dials, I highly recommend that. That's something I've tied in a lot more, and that has helped me tremendously because it's allowed me to see where I'm really at. It's allowed me to, and Jermaine, we kind of touched on this a little bit this morning. It's allowed me to see who actually answered the phone. Okay. Then when they answered the phone, who actually said no, who said yes. And then also what it does is it keeps me in rhythm and it keeps you in pace. So I think rhythm and pace is huge with dialing. Not being distracted, really protecting your dial time and being focused on the stats, because the stats don't lie, right, Jermaine? I mean, we talked about that today. The statistics are what they are, and it gives us a clear picture at the end of the day. Okay, today I made 600 dials, or today I made however many dials I made, and this is how many people picked up the phone, and this is how many appointments I booked. Therefore, I know what it takes the next dial day. I know how many dials I need to actually get to that appointment number where I'm able to help those families out over the course of the next 2 run days.
No, 100%, man. And not a lot of people use a dial tracker. It's in the knowledge library under the phone section. And I highly recommend it to be able to gauge. And if you want to, reach out to Cam, find out how he utilizes it. But I'm looking at one behind the screen right now that, the one from when you did 725 dials, and it's really a roadmap. So you could see, keep yourself accountable and see what you're doing. And no, he's not using the auto dialer, by the way. He's using the Cam dialer. Good old Cam dialer. That's what he uses. 700 dials. He's putting in the work, guys, and he's getting better every time. So that's your schedule. And then when it comes to the other thing, a lot of agents hesitate to move because I want to know all the products. I want to feel comfortable with the products. If I could look at the call log for the in-home helpline, hands down without looking at it, Cam is the #1 user of the in-home helpline because I answer those calls. And I don't even normally I'd pick up and I'd say, hey, this is Jermaine, who is this? Now I just pick up, I'm like, hey, Cam, what's going on? Hey, is that the truth?
It's true. No, that's why I'm laughing so hard, because I know it's true.
Yeah, and it's a tool that's available to all of us where you don't have to be a product expert. And I like that about you because you don't try to say, hey, I need to know everything. It's like, I need to take action. And guys, I know this is different. It's different than how we were taught. We were programmed to have to know everything before we move forward. That won't help you in this business. You've got to be willing to listen to instructions and jump, right? And we'll put the parachute together before we hit the ground. I promise you. All right. So, but utilizing that in-home helpline, the most success you can have in this business is execution. It's getting the leads, getting on the phone, having a good schedule, getting out there, meet with the client, and call for help when you're in the home. So that way we can help you. And you mentioned something that you wanted to share, Cam, about the usage of that in-home helpline and how it's helped you. I'll let you share that and then we'll wrap up because we're running over, but this is good stuff. Go ahead.
Yeah, perfect. So the in-home is the in-home helpline. A lot of times, and I know I felt this way when I first started. A lot of times we think, oh, if I'm in the home with the client and I need to call, that's going to take away from my credibility. It's going to make me look like I don't know what I'm doing. But I had to have that shift, and I wanted to share a different perspective on that. And that perspective is that if you present it the right way, hey, John and Mary, I have a pretty good idea of where we could try to get you approved today based on your medical conditions and your age. I'm gonna give a call to the senior underwriter department just to talk to another senior underwriter and make sure that we're on the right track. Okay. Does that sound fair? Yeah, that'd be great. Okay, just give me 1 second while I make this call. Boom, policy hotline. And then I'm on the phone, we're talking, I'm sharing the medical, I'm sharing the age, I'm sharing all the conditions. And what it does is it doesn't lower your credibility. It actually enhances your credibility, because the way that you presented that was, I really care that much that I'm going to go the extra mile for you to actually call the senior underwriter department just to make sure that we're putting you in the very best place. And I've found actually my close ratio to actually increase. And I think a lot of that is linked directly to that call, Jermaine, when I'm able to call that line, and when you pick up or another experienced seasoned agent picks up. And the other thing, and then I'll stop here, is the other thing is that, you know, it also gives you an opportunity to learn something in real time. And this has greatly increased my underwriting. A lot of times when I call the policy hotline, I already have a really good idea, or I already know what is the best policy, the best product for the client, but I still call anyway. It's still just a standard call for me, because even though I may know already, it just reinforces my ability and my knowledge. And if I don't know something, then I learned something new, and I'm going to remember it for the next call. And that, it just helps you as an agent, helps you to close, helps you to just continue to have that strength in the home, where it's like, I know exactly where we're going.
Yeah.
So.
And it's funny because that's what you always say at the end of the call. That's exactly what I was thinking. All right, awesome. I'm going to go ahead and get them taken care of.
Right.
It's like textbook, utilize that. I called in every house, probably my first 90 days, every house I called in, just to make sure that I utilize that. One, to learn, because I wasn't going to wait around and study product. I knew, from the information and knowledge library, I knew what the products were. I knew what was whole life and what was term. And I knew how to quote, run a quote. I knew how to access the application. That's all I needed to know. And I was getting out there because I also knew, as uncomfortable as it is, the best way to learn is by doing. The best way to learn is by doing. I could sit you in a class and tell you the laws of buoyancy, or I could throw you in the pool and say, move your arms, move your legs. And that's what we do here. And that's why it works so well. So, man, I hope you guys got a lot out of these two conversations. Anything else you want to add, Cam, and we'll close out?
It's okay to be uncomfortable. This business is it's very uncomfortable, but what you do is you step into the uncomfortability, and you step into it, you take action. And the more you step into that uncomfortability, you develop a new comfort level. So now I'm very comfortable getting on the phone and calling people now. I'm actually very comfortable with a lot of things that I was not comfortable at all doing. But I just told myself I have to do this. If I want to grow, I have to be uncomfortable. The more uncomfortable we get, the more comfortable our families get, right? Because we're putting ourselves in those homes, we're putting ourselves out there. And so I think that's huge, is just taking that step of faith to allow yourself to experience that feeling. And it's a normal feeling. Don't think that we've all been through it. from the top producer, from the greatest Hall of Famer, from the greatest integrity partner on down the line. Everybody had to be uncomfortable, and they just chose to keep getting uncomfortable and keep getting uncomfortable to the point where eventually one day they looked up and they were and it was no longer, it was just a part of their life. So I think that that's huge and key. Is just every day just a little bit, you push past just a little past that comfort point, and then and from that you grow. So
No, 100%. I mean, it's so funny. There's a quote that ties in with that. It's almost like the level of your uncomfortability determines the level of your success.
I love that.
And I might be butchering it, but that's the idea, is if you're willing to position yourself for a period of time, by the way,
Yeah, for a period.
to be uncomfortable, then your level of success will increase. So, man, I appreciate you. Gio, I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you that are on the call, and we just want to see you win, guys. We just want to see you win. That's why we take the time out. We're all independent contractors. We're all here trying to provide for our families. We're collaborating together. That's why we put these calls together. Take advantage, take notes, and let's implement what you're learning here, because none of us are special. None of us are special. It's just that some of us get more uncomfortable than others, and some of us execute more than others, and some of us stay more consistent than others. And if you're willing to do the same, none of those things are things that are unique, that you need special talent or skill or ability for. You can get uncomfortable, you could stay consistent, you could put in the work it takes to be able to make a successful career out of this business, out of this industry. So we appreciate you guys. And if you need anything, reach out. If you are wanting a coaching call, reach out. The best way to keep the lines of communication open is with you guys reaching out, and we're happy to help you. So reach out to your sales manager, reach out to myself. And if there's anything we could do to help, let us know. All right, guys, appreciate you.